Hi, and welcome to the Presenter Mastery Podcast. I'm Lucas, CEO of Headgain and amateur speaker.
And I'm David J. Phillips, expert speaker.
And together, we're your weekly guides to unlocking the power of presentation skills. Today, we're talking about how to start a presentation. And the influence, the idea of this episode came from just a few episodes ago. I'll say it like this. I am a very direct person. When I write to my team members, I oftenly forget to say good morning, hello, hi, the small talk stuff. I just go straight for the juice, so to say. And I've been called very Dutch. Apparently Dutch people are very direct. It's just in the society nature. And in this episode, I think it was the ABCDOs, I just went for the question and the core of the content. And I know you, David, when I pushed the question over to you, you kind of brought it back. You went back to the okay, yes, but before we answer this, we must know this. And I just sat smiling here. If you were looking at this on YouTube, you can probably go back to that and see me smiling and just laughing at myself. It was a very
golden
fun
moment.
Yes. So we are going to talk about how to open presentations and open a podcast if you want. I mean, presentations are omnipresent. You present everywhere. To start off, we're doing this a little bit differently. I'm going to play an opening, and I want to hear your what do you call it? Your initial thoughts on this opening.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Right? Ready?
The human voice. It's the instrument we all play. It's the most powerful sound in the world, probably. It's the only one that can start a war or say, I love you. And yet many people have the experience that when they speak, people don't listen to them. Why is that? How can we speak powerfully to make change in the world? What I'd like to suggest, there are a number of habits that we need to move away from. I've assembled for your pleasure here 7 deadly sins of speaking. I'm not pretending this is an exhaustive list, but these 7, I think, are pretty large. Habits that we can all fall into.
All right. Have you seen this before?
Yeah.
Yes?
I met him in Deutschland, actually. Not Deutschland, but where the Dutch live, in the Netherlands.
Yeah. So this is Julian Treasure. His TED Talk is How to Speak So That People Want to Listen. It's the second most viewed TED Talk all time.
That's crazy.
Not counting TEDx talks. But it shows that the second most listened to TED Talk in the world is on public speaking, which is very interesting.
That's amazing.
Yes, I would love to hear your thoughts on just the opening act that he's doing.
Well, there was definitely the attention grabber about it starting wars and love and connection with people. So the attention grabber is definitely there. He introduces the subject, which is the voice. He launches what Simon Sinek calls the why, which is why they should listen to this. He launches kind of an agenda, which means that he says, I'm going to give you 7 things. He also moves in with a counter argument to those 7, where he says that it's not exhaustive, but it's the one that he's, 7 important things. So he covers all bases which are important so far. Yeah. Now the next step, if we don't know who he is, we need to know who he is. Why are these 7 steps valuable? What's his background? How did he figure this out? That would be the next step now.
Interesting. So if you would put this on a value ladder, as we talked about before, on how to open, on a 10 grade scale?
Oh, it's an amazing opener, considering that was 20, 30 seconds?
Yeah, something like that, yes.
Yeah. Launching 5 steps in a structure in 30 seconds, being so on point, it's very good.
Very good.
Yes.
All right. Good measurement to start off with.
Oh, yeah, and absolutely, yeah.
All right. If we move in the other direction and talk about terrible openings, have you, let's just go to you personally, and then you can answer if you've seen others do the same thing. What's your worst opening? Have you ever had a terrible opening of a presentation where you okay, afterwards, that's on my never again list.
Well, it happened last week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was in Karlstad on Friday. This is literally just four days ago. And I was going to do a keynote. And I started that off by saying something like it is, because I'm born in Karlstad. So I said, it's wonderful to be here. Yeah, the sun always shines in Karlstad. The people are kind, they're gentle, they're curious, they're entrepreneurs. And you have the best coffee in the country. Nothing beats Gevalia. And that's when I realized that's not the coffee they make. The coffee they make is VOLVO Lila.
Oh no.
Yeah, so it's an entirely different coffee brand. And their pride is their coffee. You know, you can smell the coffee in the entire city. They breathe this coffee. They would defend it as it was their country. Yeah. As it was their baby. However, I believe that I may have gotten away with it. Because somewhere at the end of the A in Gevalia, I see the reactions in the audience, where it goes from absolute astonishment to hate. And I think that I caught it so that I launched a smile with a wink instead. And I think I was able to turn it over to a joke instead of a miss. Because the entire keynote ended spectacularly with really good reviews. But that was one of them. And I've done that maybe 3 or 4 times in my career. I've used the wrong word or something like that in regards to my audience, which is the opposite, like being at Lamborghini saying you at Ferrari. I've done that. But then I've done 1,000 keynotes doing maybe wrong 3 times. Fair enough. I didn't mean that. I love VOLVO Lila. It's the best. Karlstad rocks. The smell, the taste, it's superior. I am sorry.
Yeah, we all have our own coffee brands. Well played, though. I mean, this is you as a professional speaker realizing in the instance, oh shit, I made a mistake, and being able to turn that into a win instead. Like it's well done.
I think a win.
Let's call it a win. It sounded like a win at the end.
At least that's the way you get away with problems like that. You smile and then you do a wink as if it was a joke.
Yeah. But you have to do it instantly.
Oh yeah, you can't wait.
If you realize 10 minutes later, oh, by the way.
You already lost them.
Yeah. Whoa.
That was bad. Do not post this on YouTube, Emil. We don't want this to go viral. I still don't know if I finally managed to fix this.
All right. So, okay. You made a boo-boo.
Yeah, boo-boo.
Yeah. Okay. When coaching clients, I mean, you've been a public speaking coach. Yes. What are ways of opening presentations that you've seen people do that are just like, don't do this, people? Stop doing this. What are the terrible mistakes people are making when they're opening their presentations?
I think not caring. Yeah, that's it. That's the biggest problem. If you don't care about the audience, well, you may care. I'm not saying that, but you're in a mental state, which means that you are so focused on what you're going to say, the word that's coming next, the joke that you're going to do, the attention grabber you're going to launch. If you're stuck in your own head, it means that you literally don't care about the other person. It is like your partner saying, I love you, and you go, yeah, I love you too. You know, that will never work well. And that is literally what it means not caring on stage. What this means is that it usually sounds something like this. Hello, it is awesome to be here today in Stockholm. It's great to see you all. Today we are going to talk about the new boat that is being launched. The words you said about Stockholm there had no value at all. What great to be in Stockholm. You didn't care. You just said that because it was in your script. You didn't value that in any proper way. But if you were to launch your presentation by saying, hello, Stockholm, it is It is now 2 years since I was here the last time, and it was just such a blast. It is one of my favorite Nordic capitals, specifically because of Gamla Stan. What a place. Thank you for keeping this place so beautiful, and thank you for having me back. Today, we're going to talk about the new boat launch, whatever it is, you know. Whatever you say in the beginning, you can literally get away with anything in the beginning as long as you say it from your heart.
Yeah, I think when I've done presentations previously, I did for 1.5, 2 years, I was doing service and organizational keynotes within the municipality where I worked. And I don't remember specifically showing respect or valuing where I was.
No, I think very few do.
Yeah, and I think still to my personality being so very direct, I just went for content.
Yeah.
And the next slide and the next slide, getting through what I was talking about. Sure, I was. I do believe I was passionate about what I was talking about. But yes, I remember Anna, who I was doing presentations with. She came and she was like, "Oh, I've seen this talk about David J.P. Phillips. Who is he? Oh, he does this amazing thing, and I want to try something." And then she did a really cool opening where she launched a story that was about her. She didn't introduce herself. She did a story, and then she said she connected the story to, "Hello, my name is Anna. I'm from this particular, and I'm very excited to be here today. And today I'm here with Lucas." And then she handed it over to me, and I just I thought it was interesting because it gave a different vibe to it. It was unexpected, I think, for the people listening.
It's true. Regarding things that have happened recently, for the last 3 months, I've tried an entirely new opening. Never seen anyone do it. I don't know. I think I just came up with it and just went with it, and it worked so brilliantly. And, about being present and caring about your audience is one thing, but how do you make them present in an instant? Like, how do you use an opening to make them as present as you are so that you connect with them? And I say this. I say, "Good morning. How are you? Are you all feeling good?" And they go like, "Yes." "Are you grateful?" "Yes." "Well, it's warm in here. You're sitting by maybe a friend of yours. I found the coffee and the biscuits outside were nice, yeah? Yeah. Somebody's arranged this conference for you. Wow. You have this job. Wow. And there are no bombs dropping outside. And when you leave today, you don't have to be afraid of being shot. You're not at war. Are you truly grateful? I think sometimes it's important to be grateful. Don't you think? And they go, "Yes." And then I go into my keynote. But, saying that, those 20-25 seconds, the presence I create in the room by saying that, truly caring, it's powerful. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like I move from my mind is a little bit everywhere to just being very, very, very focused.
It's crazy powerful. It's definitely the most powerful start I've ever figured out to do in my career.
Interesting. It's a very good perspective to think about how to get the audience present. Because in the end, that's what you want, right? You want the audience to listen to what you have to say, to be engaged in your content, to be swooped up into your message. And they can't be that if their minds are elsewhere, if they're doing the reverse rock concert as you... No. Wow. All right. Have you seen any other ways that you think are interesting, but maybe not optimal in how to open keynotes?
Interesting, but not optimal. Well, that's a tricky question.
Maybe, but okay. But like through the years of coaching, I mean, you've seen thousands. I understand that. I'm trying to ask you to pick out a couple of things. But it would be interesting to hear like how people are opening their presentations. One is obviously, hello, my name is Lucas. Today I'm going to talk about la. And as you said, it's wonderful to be here back in Stockholm. I'm going to talk about the next boat launch. Are there, what's a dramatic opening then that you've seen?
Wow, a dramatic opening. God, I've seen so many. I've seen so many dramatic openings. I've seen like one person doing a physics experiment, making smoke over the entire stage, making a thing blow up. I've seen people starting by singing, grabbing their guitar. I've seen so many openings that are just memorable. They're not useful for most people, but I'd say that what they all have in common is that they're called attention grabbers.
Yeah.
So in the brain, we have something that we call the sensoric filter in psychology. What that means is that your brain is primarily only able to focus on one thing at a time. So if you're sitting in the kitchen and somebody turns the fan on, right? You will hear them turn the fan on, correct? But after a minute, you won't hear the fan because it's being filtered out. And this can go on for like half an hour and you won't hear the fan. But if someone turns it off, then you hear it. But the sensoric filter's purpose is to filter out stuff that's not important for you. And the purpose of an attention grabber is to break that. So that when people are sitting there, there's 100 people, say that 20 are still stuck in the meeting they were previously in. 20 are just finishing something on their mobile phone. 20 are somewhere else in their mind. You've maybe got 40 out of those 100 that are actually there, mentally and physically. So the purpose of an attention grabber, whether that is a physics experiment, whether that is storytelling, whether that is gratefulness, the purpose of the attention grabber is to go, I'm here, you're there, this is the presentation, let's go. That's the purpose of an attention grabber. And so many miss that. And they go into the subject. But the problem is that you still got 60 people who are somewhere else. Maybe one after another will pop in, listen to you. But you never got them. So you're missing out on so much.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a 30-minute talk, your time is almost always limited. I'm not sure. Obviously, there's a marathon of speaking somewhere where someone has been talking for 24 hours or doing like long book reads or something like that. But it's you have your set period of time, and to build your arguments, to build your presentation, all the way from why are we here to what are we talking about, what is important, going through the steps of your education, whatever it is. You will need all of those moments to build up to the convincing argument wherever you want this to go. And if you don't grab the attention and have full attention in the beginning, then you haven't set yourself up for success. That's
No. It's a build up. You have to build that up towards it. Yeah.
I thought a fun thing would be to listen to, I have 3 clips for you on openings. How long do you think is a good measurement of an opening? Would you need to hear a minute, 30 seconds?
For me?
Yes, 10 seconds.
It depends how long the presentation is.
Okay, around 18 minutes. What would be a good measurement for you?
It depends how good the opening is. You could actually probably spend 2 minutes on an opening like that.
So I have 3 clips. How long do you want to listen to each?
You can just probably start them up and I'll stop.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. Okay, clip number 1.
Oh.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. There is a question which has puzzled me for quite a while. And that is, why do our PowerPoints look the way they look? Or rather, how on earth can we accept that they look the way they look? How can you do that? And do you know what's even more intellectually challenging for me to understand? is how can a person sit over here in this meeting room with 10 others, observing this dismally bad PowerPoint filled with charts, graphical elements, page numbers, fading away 5-7 minutes, thinking of other things. You know the feeling, the boredom, the waste of time. This person, after 40 minutes, he or she will stand up, a bit dazed, trotting off to his own office, coming into his own computer, flipping it up, going like, oh my God, I've got a presentation tomorrow, and I do have a PowerPoint to build. Now, what is the chance that this person will build an equally bad PowerPoint as the one that he or she was by herself tortured by in the other conference room? Is that a big chance? Yeah. Now, what is that? Why do we do that? Is that vengeance? Is that where you go like, you did that to me, I'm going to do it to you. You got it coming, bro. Is that the case? I don't think so. I don't think it has got to do with vengeance. I don't think it has.
All right, that's one.
Yeah, that is opening with a story, a setting of a scene. It works because it's entertaining and there's a high level of recognize like the relatability. Yeah. Otherwise it wouldn't work. It's too long otherwise. But the relatability is so high and it's fun and it's emotional and you can figure out that it's going to lead to something good. So that's why it would work. But I've just gone through step 1 and 2 literally. The respect phrase and the attention grabber. I haven't gotten further than that.
Would you have done it differently today?
No. I would do it the same. Yeah.
All right, we have another opening to listen to.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my passion and to my love, and according to my wife, my mistress in life. 7 years ago, I embarked on a journey to analyze 5,000 public speakers from all over the world, amateurs and professionals, in order to distill and understand what makes a good speaker good, what makes a great speaker great, and what makes an outstanding speaker outstanding. The result? 110 core skills, with loads of sub-skills. So what does it look like? It looks like this. These are the 110 core skills.
Yeah.
What's the difference between this and the first one?
Well, the first one paints a picture in a better way than the last one. I would definitely redo the start of this last TED Talk. I've done that talk so many times now that I've figured out a start on that talk, which is better. At the end of the day, when it comes to any presentation, it's about painting a picture in the other person's head. And in this case, I don't do that very efficiently in this one. So, and it's also the one that has lowest views of my 3 TED Talks. It should be the one with the highest views, really, because it's absolutely stellar when I get into it. But that first opening is rough. Yeah. The thing with this one as well, when I started, my prompter fade, the screen in front of me with my slides disappeared. The timer disappeared. It all just went black. So I was super stressed in the beginning because the circumstances just went wild, bad. So I can feel it and I can hear it in my voice that I'm lost.
Yeah, a little bit slowed down in comparison to the other one, where it's very like you feel the tempo is completely different.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, a thing that I noticed in both of these is the opening line is almost exactly the same. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You say that in both of these. Yeah. I'm going to listen to the last one, and it doesn't have that.
No.
So I'm curious. I want to ask you about that, but also the opening on this one. So I'm going to play the third and last clip.
Cool.
In 2009, a man, a journalist, by the name Rob Walker wanted to find out is storytelling really the most powerful tool of all? And in order to do this, he went on his computer and he bought 200 objects from eBay.
Yeah, that starts literally the same way. I start with setting a scene, just as I did with how to avoid death by PowerPoint. And I wish I'd done that with 110 steps as well. Yeah. But in the PowerPoint one and the storytelling one are very similar. They start with the story. I set a scene which gives them some kind of level of relatability. Yeah. I love starting with stories. I do that a lot. In all of these three, I was still super stuck in my scripts. I was still super stuck in my delivery. And it wasn't until, I think 2 years after the 110 steps that I figured out how to be relaxed by having fun and not letting others dictate who I was.
I mean, in a TEDx format, you also are very constricted to time. Is it 18 minutes, maximum 20? I think, maybe that's why one of them is 20 minutes, because you didn't have a timer.
Yeah. No, I think that's the storytelling one, isn't it?
Storytelling is 16 minutes.
How is it?
And then 110 steps is actually 20 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
No, I was wrong. I was wrong. That was 16 minutes. Yeah, it was How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint. That was 20.
Oh, right. Yeah. I don't think the rules were that hard when How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint came out.
Yeah. But would you... so I guess like with time constraints, you want to set the scene, paint the picture, launch the story, and just be, as we talked about previously, bringing attention to the subject in a really fast and clear way.
Yeah.
And if you're doing this, I know you're doing wider keynotes for companies that hire you today, where you can launch and talk about the storytelling or the 110 steps or presentation skills in general, and you have more time. Do you do the openings differently than from what you've done?
Probably you take more time. The longer it is, the more time you take in the openings. Sometimes I've figured out that I create like multiple openings, like dual context settings. That's been a mistake I've done now and then. So I have to remove like an entire context and just stick with one context and make that bigger. But that's just a me thing. Hey, there's a really cool thing I'd like to try with you. And that is to just ask a couple of leading questions and see what your answers are. So, and this relates to structure, it relates to presentations, 10 out of 10. So if you, Lucas, you meet a person, let's say it's Monday, you come to the office, okay, and you meet Marcus, who works there. Like, what's the first thing that you'll say?
Hey,
yeah. All right, so you will use what is called a polite phrase in presentation skills. Well done. All right, imagine this then. Marcus has changed his haircut and looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
You most likely, after your hi, will say,
"Whoa, that's a lot of flow in your hair today."
You'd probably say
curly hair.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So quite spontaneously, you would say hi, and you would give respect if you see something that has changed. Yeah. All right. Now, most likely, if you have during the weekend, you have either, let's say, cleaned the pipes in your house, right, from sewers, pipes, either you've been doing that this weekend, or you have you had the opportunity to look at a cool like bus. Marcus loves buses and he loves these old Volkswagen things, and someone came by you and they showed you how they rebuilt it. Which of those two subjects will you most likely talk about?
Definitely the bus.
The bus.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is called an attention grabber. Right, so you would pick a subject from your weekend to talk about with the other person. Yeah? Will you ask him questions? Like, will you lead him into this subject somehow? You'll talk about this weekend, bus came by, right? In this case, will you try to stay on that subject, or will you try to divert back to the sewer subject?
Well, no sewers.
No sewers.
No, we would be very engaged in talking about buses.
Yeah, because that is Marcus's why. Okay, so we humans, naturally, we say hi, we give a compliment, we say something that we know will grab attention, and we'll try to stay on a subject which we know the other person finds interesting. Cool? That's human behavior. And now, then maybe you can dive into something a bit less amazing. Maybe you'll talk about your sewers as the next step thing, because you still wanted to share this weird experience that you had. But you do that last. You share the bit which you think is interesting, but they may not be as interested last, right? And that is, in a presentation structure, that's when you build your ethos. So when you start a presentation, use a polite phrase, say hi. Pay respect if you can. Use an attention grab because it's interesting to them. Then you launch into the why, which means stay on the subject, see if they're interested in it, ask questions around it, what's their experience, whatever. That's the why. And then introduce yourself. This is kind of this is what a presentation structure should look like, because it is human natural behavior. Now imagine this, Lucas, that you don't use this natural human behavior. So the next time you see Marcus, you don't say hi, you don't give him a compliment, you don't talk about something that's interesting. You just launch into this one problem that you have that doesn't interest him, but you want to figure it out. How many friends do you think a person like that would have in life?
If that was the single thing in every conversation, yeah, that's not really building connection. I mean, with Marcus, obviously, we spend time every day, so I could do that on occasion, and that it would fly by, no problems there. But every time, from the beginning, wouldn't be very.
And with everyone, wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't be.
And that's how people build presentations. They go in on stage and they launch into the subject, which to them is interesting or important because it's their job. But they don't explain why. They don't introduce an attention grabber. They don't pay respect, it's just not natural human behavior. And if people are challenged by this, please try it out for a week. Go around just talking about your problems with people, and don't say hi, don't pay respect, don't focus on anything they're interested in, and don't ask them questions. Just on your problems, and you'll see that you'll lose friends very quickly. And the same thing comes to a presentation.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
it's so easy to get into the subject. Is it? And I think maybe it's, if I look back at why I always went for the subject, I think in one way it was just because I wanted to get it done. Because I wanted it to be over and done with, and not enjoying the ride, and then not giving it the respect and effort that it actually deserved.
Yeah, I think so. That could be the reason. Yeah, you just want to get into it.
Yeah.
But it's not human. It's not normal. So next time you stand up on stage, treat it as an everyday conversation. You know.
Yeah, because you wouldn't go into a conversation. Well, sometimes there are like tough conversations that just needs to be had.
Yeah.
But usually, if I come to you, I come to someone else. It's not, I just need to get this done.
Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid. It's actually a giving, thoughtful conversation where I want to pick your brain on a subject, or I want to tell you something very exciting that's building up in our marketing or something else.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No.
Treat your presentations like a conversation.
Yeah. Treat your audience like it's your friends or somebody else that you want to get acquainted with and talk to about it. It's that simple. It's not a different thing. I think that's a problem with most most bits in presentations is that we pretend to be something we're not when it comes to corporate presentations. You know, we grab our laser pointer, we stand in the corner, we kill our functional gestures, we don't pay respect, we're not looking to grab attention, we're not moving the audience in the direction they should be moved. We don't spice things up. You know, what a shitty life that would be. Like, what a shitty life that would be. Imagine you coming home to your wife, Nana. You're not going to spice up the weekend at all. It's going to be the same thing Friday to Sunday every single time. There's nothing that's going to be different, right? And you don't care, and you don't ask questions, and nothing you say is of any interest. You only share problems consistently and constantly. And you're not animated. You've killed your gestures. You've killed your voice animations. She would divorce you, man. And that is why so many audiences want to divorce their managers and their bosses, because we behave like this weird robot not attending to other humans and their needs. Yeah. Whew. Yeah, it took me many years to figure that out, because at the beginning you actually think that it's a game, you know, for these rules, it's this strict behavior, but it's same thing as just being brilliant, being social. I bet you the more friends a person has, the more genuine friends a person has, the better presenter they are. Probably, if somebody did that study, you'd probably find that.
Interesting. All right. This was a bit heavy. Shake the body a bit.
Thank you also for entertaining me by listening to the 3 openings of my TEDx talks. I've never listened to them before in that order and with that kind of analysis. But it was very interesting. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Speaking of openings and your past experiences, I would want to ask you a bit more uplifting topic of I know there's a presentation that you did a brilliant opening in that you're very proud of. Would you want to share that one?
Yeah. That's I should get the Pulitzers for that. I haven't yet, but I should.
The public speaking Pulitzer.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. I was in Gothenburg. I was going to present to, I think, like hundreds of industrial designers who'd been partly responsible for creating a beautiful vehicle. This is at VOLVO. And I was going to do my keynote, How to Avoid Death by PowerPoint, for these people. I walk in on stage and I begin by saying, and I must, before I go into that, I must say, if your attention grabber is so great, you can actually almost, if your respect phrase rather, if the way that you pay people respect is so great, you can literally insult them and get away with it after. And this is an example of that. I go in on stage and I say, wow, so it's you. You are the brave 400. You've done something that, when I read it in the press, you got the Germans shaking by their legs. You've created something which, well, we haven't seen it since the VOLVO P1800. You've all created something that is beautiful, it is sensual, it is aesthetic, and it's practical. And the car I'm talking about is, of course, the Volvo XC90, which I can see out here in the demo hall. It's brilliant. And I just wish, I wish that I could say that about your PowerPoints as well. But look at this. Is this sensual? Is this practical? Is this aesthetic? And I obviously picked one of their horrendous PowerPoints from their deck of horrendous PowerPoint slides. And the laughter was just went on forever. So I went from complimenting them so much that I could literally insult them after. But that's, I think, how most feedback works. You know, if you give someone a compliment, it's easier to give them criticism after instead of just giving them criticism. I could never have walked in on that stage and gone, I've seen your PowerPoints. They are not sensual. They are not practical. They're not beautiful. That would have failed dismally. Yeah. But contrasting it with a strong compliment. So that was one of my better openings. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good opening.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. I love that. And yeah, that's a really good respect phrase. They did
hard to copy.
Yeah.
It's very hard to copy.
Okay, so this is the ultimate example. So let's say a person listening to this podcast, they have a presentation tomorrow.
Yeah.
And they've just realized that I need to rework my opening.
Yeah.
What should they think about? What are some quick tips for them before tomorrow?
Okay, so imagine that they've just not prepared an opening, really. They're just prepared to jump into the subject. I'd say, well, what we said so far is respect phrase, attention grabber, and the why. These are 3 steps that are the most important steps of a beginning. So let's start with the respect phrase. That should come from your heart. Just think about if there's something that you like or enjoy or appreciate or have an indirect or direct connection with this company and its product. If so, go through that a couple of times in your head. That's what you're going to say. Don't overplan that, because then it's going to be seem to be manipulative instead. Do that, and then spend time on your attention grabber and your why. So the attention grabber, what should that be? Something that grabs their attention. Could be set a scene, could be a story, could be a question. It could be you showing a quick video clip and asking a question about that. I think those are probably the most common ones. And then why should they listen? And then spend 20 seconds describing why they should listen, why should they invest time, why should they be there, why is this important to them, what will they learn during these 30 minutes that you have. Just define that, and then you're good to go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. If you're doing a presentation tomorrow, do that.
Do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you, David. We have now come to the favorite part of the episode. It's Skill of the Week.
Oh yes. I'm always similarly
Don't have a jingle
prepared
for this, so
one.
I'll just keep on singing. Maybe we get one or maybe not. If you like my singing, I'll keep on doing it. If you don't, go to YouTube and comment on it and I'll know. But I'll do it anyway.
It's a freaking good song.
Skill of the Week is where we pull one skill out of the 110 step chart. If you don't know what 110 steps is, go to YouTube, search for 110 techniques to master presentations. You'll find David and the TED Talk, and this is one that you can use this week to better your presentations.
Hey, you should actually do a remix of that, because you can sing. You're one of the few in the company that can actually sing. You should just record that and then allow Emil to do like a remix, a DJ remix, add some background music to that, and that'll be our jingle. Yeah, just toss it into the AI.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd say skill 34, which is the neutral posture.
Neutral posture,
which means that your arms are not locked in front of your body, nor back, nor in your pockets. They're by your side, and you open them up as you walk in. All right, so let's just try that skill quickly. I want you to fold your arms in front of you, like when you're comfortable or you're cold or you're angry, any one of those. Yeah. Okay, and now I want you to say, hello, beautiful people. It is great to be here.
Hello, beautiful people. It's great to be here.
Okay. And now I want you to use the neutral posture, i.e. relax your arms, stretch them up as you're giving them like a literal hug, right? And say the same thing. Hello, beautiful people. It's great to be here.
Hello, beautiful people. It is great to be here.
All right. I didn't ask him to smile. He smiled. I didn't ask him to change pace. He changed pace. And I didn't ask him to add a warmer emphasis into what he said, but he did. I didn't ask him to do any of those, but his gesture amplified his voice and his facial expressions. But a lot of people, when they start their presentations in the beginning, they lock their body language, which inherently impacts their facial expressions and voice. So open up, give them a collective hug, and then go neutral with your hands. There we go.
That's it.
That's it.
Skill of the week.
Skill of the week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
As a listener, please, we would love a review. If you're new to this podcast, if you've been listening for a while and haven't left one, please go into your Apple Podcast, your Spotify, whatever player you're listening on, push the button, give us a 5-star review. I think you think that we deserve it. I hope so. Because if you're listening, we're doing the best we can here.
Otherwise, give us feedback so we can grow as well.
Yes, feedback.
If you've come this far, you might as well.
Correct. If you've come this far, you might as well. Now, if you've come this far in the episode, please go into your podcast player and give us a review. We would love to get that. It means that this podcast gets better rating, gets reached by more people. The only way we grow currently is by word of mouth and by ratings and being recommended. So recommend us to a friend, hit the rating. Thank you. Also, if you have any questions that you want us to answer inside the podcast, if you have feedback in any way, we post the entire episode on YouTube. Search for Presenter Mastery on YouTube. You'll find that. You'll see if you want to see these exercises with my hands and stuff like that on camera, you'll find it there. We also value the comments there and we go in and answer them. So that's where we take comments because usually you can't do comments on a podcast player. And lastly, if you are interested in becoming better at presentations, we have a free training that is available through a link in the show notes. It's called the 3 Steps to Master to Become a Top 1% Presenter. It's a free training. It's about 45 minutes, lays down the exact things that you need to work on. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, David. Thank you to myself, I guess, and have a great week. See ya.
Thank you. Thank you, Emil. Thank you, Lucas.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.